What's up guys, John here and welcome back to John Moon Studios. Before we get started, if you have not watched part 1 of this short series, I will link that down below in the description. For those of you who have, sit tight because in this video we'll be talking about how to create melodies for your songs. So get ready, this is Fundamentals of Songwriting Part 2. I want to keep this video as simple and effective as possible, so let's take a look at the first example. What you'll quickly realize is that writing a melody is actually very simple and makes sense once you understand how to. To write a melody, we mainly use chord tones, meaning notes from the chord. I'm going to go ahead and break my example down. Okay, so we pulled up the chords and melody. So the first chord we have is an A minor chord, which are going to be the notes A, C, and E. Our first melody note is A and the octave higher, A. Then we go to a G because our next chord is going to be a G major chord. So the notes are G, B, D. And then we're going to go down to D, which is also a chord tone, in the chord G major. Now we're going to move up into the note E. Again, what I'm creating here is what we call anticipation. So the note isn't part of the G major chord, but it is part of the next chord. So I'm kind of preparing the listener to hear that C chord before it actually happens. So here we have the C chord and the notes are C, E, G. Then we go down to the root note, which is C, up to G, which is still part of the chord. So we have E, C, and G. And then we go down to F, again, creating that anticipation before the F major chord happens. And we have an occasional E happening inside of the F major chord. These are what we call passing tones, which we'll cover in just a second. We're going to go down to D while in the F major chord. Again, it's a passing tone. We'll take a look at that in a moment. We go back up to E, back down to D, and then we land on C again. Now, C happens to be a chord tone inside of the chord F major, but it also happens to be the third once we start the progression over on A minor. And then the entire chord and melody progression starts all over again. So now let's talk about the other notes. The other notes, although it can fit as a chord tone in some kind of alternate form of the chord, as of right now, they aren't called chord tones. They're actually called passing notes or passing tones. It's simply filling up the empty spaces with the notes in the overall key signature, which in this case is A minor. So all they're really doing is leading your ears to the next chord. This is where music gets interesting. That's why when you hear popular songs, they stick so well in your head. Personally, I am a fan of not just the melodies, but the notes leading up to the melodies because they often have the most color. Now let's do some analysis on the second melody, which is basically the same deal, just different chord tones being used, and the passing tones are leading your ears somewhere else. So now we're going to take a look at the second example. So again, the chord progression is exactly the same. The only difference is the melody. So we're going to start off in that A minor chord. And again, the A minor chord has the notes A, C, and E. The melody note starts on A, then goes up to B. It's not a chord tone, but it is a passing tone. We're going to go to a chord tone, C, and then we go up to D. Now, what's interesting about this melody is that B and D are actually part of the next chord. So it's kind of already giving your ears somewhere to go to. So the next chord is G major, which has the notes G, B, and D. And the melody notes goes down to B here. Then we have another B. It's going to go up to C, which is a passing tone. We're going to go up to D, which is a chord tone, and then we reach the chord C major. Again, this is a passing tone inside of G major, but it's using the chord tones of the C major here. So it's already kind of leading your ears to that next chord. Then we move to E, which is a chord tone in the key of, in the chord of C major, which is C, E, and G. So we have another E, goes down to D, passing tone. Then we go to C, chord tone, down to B, another passing tone. And then we arrive at the F major chord, which lands on a chord tone, which is A. So the notes inside of F major is F, A, C. And this would be the third. Again, the chord progression just repeats itself here. All right, so now that we've seen these two examples, let's take a listen to the third example, which is going to be, again, the same deal. We're going to be looking for those chord tones inside of the chord progression, as well as following the passing tones, which gives it that extra color that we need. So now we're going to do the final analysis on these melodies. Let's pull up the piano roll. Again, same deal. We have the same exact chord progressions, but now we're going to check out what the melody is doing. So, okay, that's here. So we're going to start on A minor. The first note of the melody is going to be a C. So again, it's part of the chord tone, A, C, E, C. Then it goes down to B, which is just creating anticipation to fall on the G major chord. So we know that in G major, B is a chord tone, G, B, D. Again, we're going to follow the pattern here. So we have 3 Bs here. And then it goes down to a G, which is the 5th of this C major chord. And then it goes down to a C again, still a chord tone, goes back up to G, and then goes down to F, which is the root of the next chord, F major. And then we kind of have this rhythmic pattern in eighth notes going from F to E, F to E, F to E, and then we're going to go down to D and then C, which is again a chord tone inside of F, but also the third in A minor, which is also a chord tone. So remember, these are just theoretical ways of looking at music. Melodies are created using, creativity, which can't exactly be taught. It's more of an individual kind of approach to music. Being creative is one of the number one things you need in order to be able to create great music for people to hear. If you found the information of this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Don't forget to share with your musician friends. I will see you all soon.